Hey guys, today we're going to look at the brush tool in Adobe Photoshop. So make sure you go ahead and open up this lesson that I provided with you so you can kind of play along with me here. Um, so it's a very powerful tool. It's the tool for artists and illustrators. You know, if you're going to do digital painting and stuff, you need to get familiar with the brush tool. You want to make sure when you're using the brush tool, you have two windows open. And I'm going to just, first I'll click on my brush tool. I need my toolbar up first. So I'm going to go get my, oops, I need to get in Photoshop. There it is. The brush tool is found right here. If you click and hold, you have brush tool, pencil brush, color replacement tool, and mixer brush tool. We're just going to look at the brush tool today. That's the main one. I mean, these other ones are more advanced, and except for the pencil tool, and don't really use them too much at this point. I rarely use them, honestly. So let's get into the brush tool. The pencil tool actually is a limited version of the brush tool. It's just use the brush tool. I don't never use the pencil tool. Okay, it can do a lot. It can look a little overwhelming. You actually have two windows when you're using this thing. So we're going to go ahead and go. Actually, you can click this guy right here, and that should open. There it is. One up right. Let me try again. I got rid of it. There it is. So I have it right here. I have brush settings and brushes. The brushes just show the different types of brushes, and the brush settings will allow you to come in and alter those brushes. So it's really kind of nice. You know, lots of different alterations you can make. So when you're using a brush, obviously you have this menu bar up here. Now this mirrors a lot of the same things that are happening here. So a lot of these changes that I can make as far as change the different brushes and stuff, I can do up here as well. So we're going to focus on this to start with. So we have a brush right here. If you look right here, this is the brush that I've got set. It's actually called Lips. I built that yesterday when I did this video, which didn't turn out like I want, so I'm redoing it. We're going to go to the general brushes. These are the ones you're going to use most of the time. Honestly, these are the brushes I use, I'd say 85% of the time. These brushes you can make in photorealistic illustration just using these general brushes. So these are the ones we're going to focus on today, and you can mess with other ones as you progress. Okay, so again, we have our brushes, so let's go ahead and change this. They didn't used to be in these folders, so this is kind of new. I kind of like this. So I'm just going to turn this to, we'll start with the top one, soft round. And click, and there we go. Now we have a soft round brush. You can see right there it's saying nothing can happen. So usually that's an indication that I need to go look at my layers. So we're on, I'm going to go to Artboard 4 because I have a nice space over there. And I actually have a layer called Draw here. So there we go. So I'm going to draw on this layer today. So go ahead and do that as well whenever you get your brush set up. We're not going to draw quite yet. The opacity is set to 100%. So right now at this moment, if I take my brush, I'm using my mouse right now, and I draw across, I'm going to get a nice soft edge stroke at 100% of the foreground color. Whatever is in the toolbar, that's what I'm getting. So 100% of the foreground color. Now, if I switch the opacity down to 23, you're going to see, of course, I get 23%, which means I can build that up, you know, one on top of the other. Sometimes it's kind of nice. Again, I'm just using the mouse now. This little feature here, now we're going to start talking about using a stylus tablet. Because this always use pressure for opacity. Went off brush, oops, hang on, let's try that again. Went off. Well, anyhow, this is the opacity button, and this does not work with the mouse. This is for a stylus pen. If you're really serious about being a graphic designer, especially being an illustrator, I highly suggest getting a stylus tablet. They think they range everywhere. They used to be about $70, maybe $90, somewhere in there for the low end. I like the Wacom brand, but the other ones are pretty good as well. Don't get one with a battery. I had one like that years ago. They kind of suck. They have wireless ones now. Now, the tablet I'm using is not direct to screen. It's this little tablet that I'm drawing on. So I'm looking at a computer screen. I'm drawing on the tablet in front of me. So that's takes a little bit of a learning curve because you're not drawing what you're seeing. They do have direct to screen. A lot of students now are using drawing tablets where they're drawing right on like a iPad tablet, that kind of thing. Really cool. You get styluses for that as well. But I'm just using a simple little drawing tablet today. So I have this set. I'm going to set this back to 100 and re-click this, and then I'm going to lightly touch my tablet, and you see I get a light thing. I'm going to push harder, and I'm getting 100%. This is what makes a tablet so awesome. is the fact that you get pressure sensitivity. You don't get that with a mouse. So this is why if you really want to excel at your drawings and stuff, get one of these. I can't stress that enough. So if I go to brush settings, you're going to see transfer is the exact same thing here. So I'm at 100%. This is the little transfer button. See, it's going on and off. In the past, this thing sometimes wouldn't work. Sometimes this one wouldn't work with that one. So if you ever have an issue with it, if one's not working, just open up the brush settings and check and make sure if this is not working up here. But today it's working pretty good, so that's good to hear. And then we have, next moving over, we have flow. I've only known one person that's ever used this. So don't just leave this on 100. Don't mess with it. You won't need it. So just don't mess with flow. Smoothing is a new thing that they've added, and I'm kind of show you how to do it. I'm going to do it with a mouse. Hopefully it's going to work. I'm going to make my mouse smaller. I'm going to use a red so you can see a little better. I found out yesterday it seems like if I zoom out, smoothing works a lot better. So I'm going to take the smoothing. It's set to 100. I'm going to set it down to 0, and I'm going to try to make an arch. So you see I got an arch like that. It's a little bumpy and stuff. Now let's pull the smoothing back to 100 and try it again. And look at that. It really makes it much smoother. It's basically taking all the little warbles and slips and whatever that when I'm using the mouse to draw with, and it's smoothing it out for me. So it's not picking up every little imperfection. Let's try with a stylus pen now. And same thing. So it's much nicer. So, it's new. I haven't really used it much. I think it used to be just down here, and they put it up here. So I might play with this more. I don't know. But I always had it on 0. This is my standard thing. And then it has these smoothing options. I have no idea what these things are, so we'll figure that out later on. It's not that important. They're new as well. All right. This angle, what is this thing called here? This is new too. It used to be up here. Set the brush angle. I think this is probably a stylus thing. I'm not going to mess with this today. Just leave that at 0. Now this one is extremely super important. This one is pen pressure for size. So we're going to turn this one off now. We're going to turn this one on. I'm going to zoom in, and this is the difference. This is what I get now. So when I click lightly touch and then heavy touch. So you can see I'm getting thick and thin lines. This is really nice. Let's set the smoothing back to just for fun. Let's see what happens if I do this with smoothing. Yeah, it is a little nicer. It's a little slower, it seems like, using the smoothing. But this gives you a more natural drawing tool, more like using a pencil or pen and ink, pushing, or a paintbrush, especially a paintbrush, pushing. So I absolutely love this. This is how I do when I do my sketches and stuff, using a stylus tablet or even drawing with it. A lot of times I'm using this pen pressure to get thick and thin lines. So if I make it really big, I get thick and thin lines. Now, select all, delete. Just wanted to tell you, how did I get it really big? 2 ways to change your brush size on the fly. I use the brackets key. You can hold it, or you can click it over and over again, and big and really touching lightly thin small brushes. So that's how you use your brackets to make your brushes smaller, bigger. There's also one that I always forget about, which is hold the Option and Control key at the same time. So Option, Control, and then you can drag. Let's see, well, it's not working. Hang on. At the same time, while brush is selected, and drag your mouse stylus left and right. So Option, Control. Well, it worked yesterday, so you know what? Use your brackets key. It's not seeming to work for me today. I don't care. I don't use that one anyhow. All right. If you cannot see your brush all of a sudden, it's because your cap locks is on. So if you ever come like here and you're like, I see just an X, but I don't see the size of my brush, it's your cap locks. Turn your cap locks off. A lot of times you'll accidentally hit your cap locks, and it'll do that for you. Let's see if we missed anything. Oh yeah, this is a new one too. This is actually kind of cool. This little butterfly here. I was like, what the heck is that? And then I took a guess, and I was right, because it is a butterfly. So get your brush, make it a little smaller. And I don't know when you'd use this, maybe with a playing card. We're going to click the vertical, and then hit OK. And then you can guess what it's going to do. It actually mirrors your brush. I'm going to undo this. Let's check the smoothing back down to 100. We'll get much and make it smaller. Let's see what we get now. We get much cleaner. Yeah. I'm kind of digging this smoothing, getting into it more. And then it mirrors what I've got here. So Again, you can always copy and paste, but this is kind of interesting. Maybe it's useful. And of course, you can mirror it all kinds of different ways. Ooh, what's wavy mirror? Let's try circle mirror. First of all, let's delete it. Let's select all, delete, and we'll try circle mirror. Get all of here. Yeah, these are kind of fun. I had no idea. Okay, so yeah, play with these. Mirroring, you have swirl mirrors, radial, mandala. Mandala, I gotta try that one. Hang on. Sorry, guys. Let's see what mandala mirror does. Oh, check that out. Well, that's just fun. All right, so yeah, play with that. That's brand new. I kind of like it. All right, delete. So there you go. Oops, sorry. Okay. So you can make your own brushes. We're not going to dig too deep into this. There's millions of brushes online. Definitely go online and check out free Photoshop brushes. There's all kinds of cool ones, clouds and grass and all kinds of neat stuff like that. So it's now I got to get rid of this butterfly. Symmetry off. All right, there we go. So to make a brush, super simple. Basically anything, I can make a brush out of this car if I wanted to. But I'm gonna make a brush out of these lips. Basically it doesn't even have to, you don't even have to be on the right layer or anything. Just make a selection around what you want to make a brush out of. And then go to edit, define brush presets. And then you can name your brush lips 2. And there you go. I have a lips brush. If I look at my brushes now, lips 2 right there. So click. It should. Let me get on. So nothing happened. I'm just going to draw here. I'm going to whenever that time something doesn't happen, I'm going to deselect because there you go. I had this selection right here. So it's not going to let me paint in here because there's no selection. So Command D. And there you go. And look, it's painting. I'm just clicking one time to get that. It's painting red lips because my foreground color is red. If I click and drag, I'm going to get something like this, which actually gives me a nice little bit of texture here and there. So that is how to make a brush. Now, if I do make a brush, let's just do it from the car. Let me just show you. Make a car brush. And I go edit, transform. Sorry, define brush preset. And I'm not going to now be lazy and click. You're going to notice, deselect. That I didn't get a blue car and like that I got a red car. So when you do make a brush out of anything, it takes the information and just turns it into black and white. So in other words, if I was to click with a black one, I'm going to get that. So you're not going to get, so if I made a brush out as pink, I'm not going to get pink lips. It's going to actually give me a grayscale of this. So it actually wouldn't be as dark as this one. It will be lighter. It's going to turn this thing into a grayscale since there's no, which would be like, whatever, 50%, 20% black. Or gray, I'm sorry. So yeah, that's how brushes work. Building your own. If I click and drag, I get multiple cars. So, all right. So when you've got all these brushes, you can do all kinds of adjustments to them. I'm not going to go too deep into this. So let's go back to the lips. So if I can do that, and you can make the changes under the brush settings. Right now, you can see whatever's clicked on, or has a plus or an arrow, a check beside it, is what's happening to it. So if I click off all these, I'm just going to get the brush, and if I click and drag, it's going to behave kind of like your paintbrush behaves. Shape Dynamics is still on. Click. There you go. Now it's off. Okay. So let's just play around with these a little bit. So we're going to click our Shape Dynamics back on. And now when I click lightly, I'm going to get small ones and I'm going to get big ones as I click and drag. And again, the transfer, which we could do up here as well. Click on the transfer. And watch, I'll leave them both on now. And I lightly, I'm going to get grayed ones, and then they're going to get darker, and then they're going to get lighter because I have both these on. I have this one, which is dealing with opacity, and this one's dealing with size. I actually like to do sketches with that. So sometimes I'll, let's say, have a hard pressure and use this brush, and I'll do my sketches, and it'll give me this gray and black together. And for some reason, I just like that. I get a little bit, it looks kind of like a watercolor, it's kind of natural, so it's kind of nice to have them both running at the same time sometimes. All right, delete, select. Back to the lips. Whoops, where was I? I'll make sure I'm on the right layer. No, I'm on a type layer. That's why it's not letting me do anything. So, oh, I lost my layer somehow. Okay, we'll just make a new one here. There we go. So click and drag. It has some settings on, so go to brush settings. These are some I made yesterday. That's why it's doing. This is the lips I made yesterday. So I'm going to turn off. Actually, we'll turn all of them off and just kind of look at them one at a time. So again, pin pressures happen here, and then you have minimum diameter, all these other things. You can play with these things, your angles, your roundness, all this stuff. Again, I don't want to go too deep into here. The one I use most is going to be this size jitter. Hey, thank you. Scattering. Sorry, DPS is here. Does just that. Makes these scattered of these brushes. And again, you can play with this. You can get all kinds of things. The scattering actually can be altered again here. If you go to, let me see if I can find it. Brush settings. Oh, brush tip shape. That's it. Click here. And they put this spacing here. This is another place. You got to remember this one because so basically the size and roundness and hardness, which you can find up here to adjust these things. Where's it at? Right here, size and hardness. You don't have this spacing, and the spacing is actually kind of cool. So when I hit the spacing, you see I'm opening up the spacing. So you can make like snowflakes, and rain, and things like that, and adjust this spacing. And then, it's only found here. You got to remember, you got to click this little guy here to get it. Sometimes I forget where it's at. So we're gonna go. Let's make some color. Now, when I talked about doing snowflakes things. One thing we're getting there, all these lips are exactly the same as far as the angle, so we can actually make these things rotate as well. I think that's under, let's try angle jitter. Yeah, there you go. Now watch. And now they're getting all kinds of all over the place, getting really textural, and they're not exactly the same. I could now click on what size jitter is on, so I can get big ones and little ones. If I turned off transfer, they would all be the same opacity. Now you see transfer did not work. I just turned it off and there it goes. Now it's dying. It came back on. So this is overriding it. So I'm going to turn off the transform here. Now let's try it. There we go. Good. Select all and delete. Texture, and I don't want to go too much into these. Texture would actually put a texture inside your brush. Dual brush would combine a couple. Color dynamics, I tried to show this to you guys yesterday. I did this same video, I'm redoing it, and it wasn't working for me. You actually can make two colors work together in your thing. I'm going to try one time, but I'm not going to go, if it doesn't work, I'm going to give up. I don't know why. It's because so basically I make a foreground color and I make a background color. I'll make this one like a blue. We'll try it one time, and it should give me both. But it's only giving me the gray. Hang on, let me hit this 100%. Nope, and if it doesn't work, again, I don't know what's going on with this thing. It's not even giving me either one of them now. So I'm just going to quit that one. For some reason, I'm just having a hard time. I've never had a hard time with that before, so skipping it. And then transfer again. This one's up here. And just like everything else, the deeper you go, the less you use things. So brush pose, I have no idea. Noise would give you like texture. I used to use this wet edges. It kind of gives you a little bit of a watercolory effect. I'm not sure about build up, so just remember shape dynamics, transfer, your main two. The other ones I'd say get to familiar with would be scattering, and if it works, color dynamics, but I can't get it to work right now. All right. I'm going to stop right there. I think brushes is enough for you guys for today. Here's a great little 10 tips to master Adobe Photoshop brushes video I found. Check that out. It'll help you as well. There's a lot more to brushes. You can spend days looking at the brushes. There's all kinds of different ones when you get into the, when you get into, close the, there we go. When you get into like dry media, wet media, special effects, all these things. And they're basically special effects really aren't that special. They're just like the brushes we made. They just click on this. There you go. I'm just making leaves and stuff like that. So get in and play with them. Spend a little time. Get familiar with them. Get a stylus tablet. All right. So I'll talk to you guys later. Stay safe. Bye.